Hey there, everybody. Mormonism was one of the religions, according to our textbooks, that was considered to be an outsider religion and a new religion. Unlike religions such as Methodists, Lutherans, Catholics, and others that have found their roots in Europe, Mormonism was founded by Joseph Smith Jr. in upstate New York in the early 19th century. Joseph Smith Jr. was born on December 23, 1805, in Sharon, Vermont, to Joseph and Lucy Mack Smith. He didn't have much of a formal education, but he did get strong religious instruction from his mother. His mother often said that he spent time in meditation and deep study. During his teenage years, he was trying to decide what traditional denomination worked best for him, and his mother encouraged him in this endeavor because she was also struggling in this area. When he was 14, he was reading James 1:5 that says, "If any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him." King James Version. So, early one spring morning, he went up to the woods and prayed and asked God to show him what denomination was right for him. Now, to me, this shows a great deal of faith to believe that God would really do this for him. Well, Joseph claims that he was visited by two personages, God the Father and Jesus Christ, who both told him not to join either one of the churches. So he didn't. Well, 3 years later, he was visited by an angel named Buren, who gave him information about the Book of Mormon, which he then translated into English and published it in 1830. Now, this seems to be the beginning of the Mormon faith. So he and his followers left the New York upstate area and headed west. They first settled in Kirkland, Ohio, which is in the northeast part of the state near Lake Erie. From there, they continued west and settled in Missouri. Now, although there were thousands of Mormons who went to settle in the area, they were still in the minority. However, the people who already lived in the area felt threatened by them and their beliefs, such as the fact that the Mormons believed in healing the sick by the laying on of hands. In addition, the Mormons were reaching out to the Native Americans as missionaries, and the local people felt that if these two groups combined, it might sway the political balance of power, and they didn't like that idea. So the locals began using vigilantism against the Mormons by stealing property, burning homes, and physically abusing both men and women. As a result, the Mormons left Jackson County and settled in the northwestern part of the state, hoping to find some relief. However, that was not the case. During one election, they were forbidden to cast their votes, and a fight ensued. These issues escalated over the next couple weeks, and several people on both sides were shot and killed. The governors then called in the state militia to stand between the two groups. But since many of the militia were sympathetic to the non-Mormons, the Mormons did not feel like they were really being protected. In the end, the Mormons were driven out of the area without their belongings, and they went north to Iowa, then east to Illinois. At this point, Joseph Smith and a small delegation went to Washington, D.C. to appeal to the president about the abuse of their religious rights and to seek some sort of relief. Well, President Van Buren appeared to be sympathetic, but refused to make any kind of statement or ruling, saying, it's up to the states to decide about those things. Smith then went to the Illinois delegation, who presented the information to a Senate subcommittee, and they voiced the same concerns about who is ultimately in charge and responsible when it comes to these things. Smith became very disillusioned because he believed that they had right on their side. However, this was politics, and religion and politics even then didn't mix very well. According to Spencer McBride in When Joseph Smith Met Martin Van Buren, Mormonism and the Politics of Religious Liberty in 19th-Century America, the Mormons felt that, quote, the president stood as a symbol of what they believed was the political malpractice that fostered an environment of religious intolerance and inequality, end quote. Well, as most of us know, the Mormons then headed west to what is now Utah and settled in the Salt Lake City area with their leader Brigham Young, since Smith and his brother had been killed in Carthage, Illinois in 1848 by an angry mob. Now, although they have been persecuted many times in their short history, they still remain a strong religious group with followers throughout the world.